Welcome back to Safe Space, your favorite source for Foundation-verified news. Last week, the system's favorite band of bright-eyed progressors flew to Venus and expertly dispatched a horrifying bestial has-been that appeared to be a planet. Once finished, the trio met with Ellis Madagon, leader of the small research outpost near Venus's North Pole, who revealed that they were suffering from a combination of vicious attacks from native bestial has-beens and fungi damaging the walls protecting them. How will our heroes defend these brave settlers from Venus's hostile environment? Find out and stay tuned for more Safe Space!
Hey everybody, and welcome back to Safe Space. I'm your DM, Rebecca.
My name's Nova, and I'm playing Geset.
I am the EDN 3EKU.
His name's Anthony.
And I'm Baxter. My real name is Zach.
Yeah, so...
The last time we left off, everyone had, after a harrowing battle against a plant monster that nearly killed several people.
Yeah, what the fuck?
They ended up making it, the party ended up making it to the Venus Outpost, a very small outpost in the vast wilderness of Venus.
Wait.
What's up?
Wait. Rebecca?
Uh-huh.
Rebecca?
Mm-hmm.
Is the EDN 3EKU.
Was that a fucking Venus flytrap? Was it?
In
Some
your
flies,
dreams.
Oh my god.
It's a
Are you calling yourself a fly, Nova? Are you calling Geset a fly?
Venus slime
Is that
trap?
really what you want?
A Venus Baxter trap?
A Venus robot trap. Maybe it's just a trap.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But anyways, after fighting the harrowing trap, the party managed to make it to a small Venus outpost where their mission is assigned. Venus is a very large planet, mostly covered by extremely oversized flora and fauna, with several large ecodomes encapsulating the main cities. This outpost, however, is only made up of 2 buildings and has a total staff of around 8 people managing this outpost. The party was greeted by Ellis Madagon, who escorted them into the bunk rooms and gave them some information on the planet before the party decided to take a rest after their experience. So,
Yeah.
several hours later, they all awakened to find themselves still resting peacefully in the bunk rooms, with Ellis waiting on one of the chairs, or one of the beds, I guess.
Wait a minute.
So,
Wait, Rebecca. We waken,
yes.
but we're restful?
You are.
Do you mean we're rested?
You're rested, yes. You guys are feeling very rested after this several-hour nap. Slumber.
Wait, sorry. Can it really, like, be called a nap because of...
Alright,
like,
fine then, bitch. Stay asleep.
Like, the day here is gonna be different
Oh
from
god, I didn't even think
the
about...
day on Mars.
Oh my god.
So, is it really a nap? Would it all just be sleeping?
I guess it
if
would.
we
Like,
sleep
I'm
a
pretty
certain
sure-
amount?
Venus has, like, days longer than years.
Yeah, it's pretty extreme.
Oh,
Yeah, so
oh
we're
shit,
not
didn't
gonna-
we, like, base it like they come at night?
They come at dusk, yeah.
So that's in, like, November.
So, I mean, another thing is that this isn't Venus, this is Safe Space, and
You know what?
we've invented a planet that is
I'm
completely
gonna
different
say-
from Venus, and we're calling
You know
it
what, I'm
Venus.
gonna say that, Utology Foundation fucking sped up the rotation. No,
it's whatever.
We could also just
We'll
say
figure
that
it
our
out.
Venus has like a 16-hour day-night cycle,
Yeah.
just to keep shit expedited.
No, I think in...
or, you know what?
In this world, the planets do have fairly different rotation cycles, but for the more colonized ones, such as Mars and Venus, they have been modified so it's much more similar to Earth.
Okay, yeah.
Modified how?
Science! Shut up!
We're
That is the wrong question.
nanites. Nanites did it. Nanites are
Or,
cool.
although,
Nanites are
alternative,
everything.
like, I don't know if this messes
They
with
are,
your
they're
ideas,
everywhere.
but wouldn't it be kind of cool if it would, like, turn, like, if we were told, like, oh yeah, they come around at dusk, and we were like, oh yeah, then, like, we'll just fight them off for a few hours while you come here. And what if it's, like, turns out to be, like, a month-long siege on this outpost? Like, actually, I think that would be really cool. It might be a fun little misunderstanding. like, oh no, we've been roped into a situation that we didn't quite understand.
Yeah, we're definitely gonna do stuff like that. I don't know about a month-long
A nice 10-session
siege,
fight.
but
Yeah.
yeah.
Well-
We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. Sorry.
I also only have so much planned for today, so I'll just tell you when I basically run through most of the stuff that I'm able to do. But
got it.
I will always store these ideas for the future, so I'll take any and all suggestions.
Yeah. Also, I think that'll also be the benefit. We'll also have the benefit of like doing this on non-established planets in the future.
Yeah.
So like we can just say, yeah, it's similar to Earth.
Oh yeah.
Shut up. Why would we settle a planet that has radically different time schedules? We gotta sleep.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, I guess Geset sits up, and I think Geset has a little pocket mirror, or maybe she just like does the selfie camera on her phone, and she's just kind of trying to select her look for the day. She's trying out all sorts of different hairstyles just in bed and just kind of morphing all over the place.
Baxter wakes up and I don't know if I mentioned this earlier, but he's like got very shaggy hair,
Yes.
almost mullet-like, but
Not a bad.
kind of
A
mullet.
badass
Anyway,
mullet.
it's just a mess.
Nice.
It's poofed up
He's a
everywhere
trash boy.
to the point where you can't even see his face very well.
He is our favorite
I
garbage
love
boy.
trash boy.
Exactly. Okay, wait, but have you seen my hair when I wake up?
I can
Yeah.
imagine. My hair defies gravity when I wake up.
Oh yeah, me too. It's all over the place, especially if I've showered
Oh my God.
recently. It gets super poofy. Okay, one time. I don't know if anybody listening will have watched Haikyuu.
No.
Have you watched it, Rebecca?
I love Haikyuu so much. It's my favorite anime. I would
Hell yes.
die for them.
So you know Kuro and how his hair in the back like
So,
sticks
Anthony,
up.
how's
Those
it going?
things
Oh.
are super like emo.
Yeah, I do.
I'm just
Yeah, me
waiting for the
too.
game to start.
I woke up with my hair pretty much exactly like that once. It was great.
Yeah, no, same here, same
Geset
here.
goes back to sleep.
But as all of your characters are starting to rouse and wake up a little bit, you notice that Ellis, after this long span of time, is kind of just sitting on one of the beds, minding his own business, reading a book.
Oh, good morning, Alice.
Ellis Madagon.
Hello guys, it's good to see you are finally awake.
Yeah, it was a lovely sleep. It's very comfy in here.
Yes, we try to make it much more hospitable inside the houses compared to the outside, which is a little smelly to say the least.
Yeah.
Do you have coffee?
Did you say something, Baxter?
Coffee.
Oh, yes, of course. We do have cooking facilities, however, they're a little under the weather at the moment. We could find you
He
something to
doesn't.
drink.
He doesn't even care. He's not listening to this. He just gets up in his PJs, which is really just like an oversized shirt and no pants. And he just kind of walks around trying to find the kitchen.
Jamie Baxter.
Oh, good morning, Eden.
How are your wounds?
It was good. It's good. Even. Everything's good after coffee.
Excellent.
Geset walks over and kind of nudges Eden on the shoulder. It's like, Eden, I think Baxter's still booting up, if you know what I mean.
I don't. I've detected a life form to the northwest.
Did you roll a perception check?
I don't need to. It's right over there. I see a purple man.
Wow, talk about metagaming. Which actually,
Ellis-
Would you like me to roll perception to see this dude right across the
Nah,
corner?
you can see him. Ellis
Rebecca.
kind of walks over to the door and peers out to where Eden is looking and says, "Oh, yes, that's Ethan. He tries to patrol the grounds every hour. Make sure that nothing's going on and that everything's the same as usual. He's kind of our watch."
Ethan and Eden.
Yes, of course. Ethan, Eden, and Ellis apparently.
Oh my god.
Rebecca. Hey,
What's up, Zach?
Rebecca. Would I need to roll a perception check to find the kitchen?
You wouldn't know where it is.
But could I roll a
smell it?
perception
Sure,
check to
if
find
you
the
get a
kitchen?
You
nat-
could totally just walk around.
Yeah, if you get a nat 20,
think-
you can just instinctually
Wasn't-
tell where it is, but you could also just walk around.
Wasn't the kitchen like really affected by the pig
That's
things?
a 10, and
Mhm.
I have +3, so that's 13.
Yeah, no, you don't know where it is.
Fuck.
You can suspect that it isn't in this room.
Ellis Madagon, my ally is searching for stimulants. Where can he procure them?
Yes, of course. It's in the other building, right across the way. I can take you there if you'd like.
Yeah, sounds great. Thank you.
Baxter?
He just kind of does a weak thumbs up and walks out the door.
Alright, let's go. And he kind of takes a very brisk walk to catch up to you guys, a little surprised that you're moving without him, and walks down the path across the way. It's only about 40, maybe 50 feet away from
We're
the door to
Wait,
the
so Ethan on the
dorms.
way.
We're adults. Are we not allowed to walk on our own?
Well, it's more that it's just a new area.
Fair.
Most
We
people are a little
did get our asses
suspicious,
kicked
but-
by a plant
as
monster
he-
yesterday, so
Yeah, but Baxter's also half awake. But Ellis
Yeah.
walks across the way and opens a door so you guys are able to see farther into the second building. As he opens the door and walks in, you can see a fairly hardwood floor that leads into an area where on the left and right you can see a couple shops with one person standing behind sorting some swords and a couple satchels on the other side of the room. And to the right, you can see a fountain that's running some what looks to be fairly clean water. He keeps walking down the wooden hallway until the end of it, where you can see a couple different doorways, and he turns right down the hallway, which makes kind of a T shape, towards a very large door, which he walks through and opens for you to see a room that is filled with many different tables and benches. So, Ellis, after he goes through the door, looks at you guys and says, yes, so as you can see, this is our main compound. We have a couple different storage rooms, and this is the dining room. This is where most people come to eat, and around the corner here is the kitchen, where we just... He pauses for a second and turns to look at one of the walls, and which is suddenly just not there. And he says, please don't mind the gaping hole in the wall. We're still working on trying to seal this up over here." And
It's
you
fine,
see
we're used to
a hole
gaping.
That's about.
That was
You see a
OOC,
hole
by the
that's
way.
About... Okay.
Now we know.
Now we know.
I am
Yeah.
a bit concerned that it might not be meeting Utology Foundation health standards, but I mean, we're kind of here to solve the problem, aren't we?
Yes, please. We'd really appreciate your help. We've been able to fashion some loose boards and a couple of the benches to keep most things out, but as you can tell, it's really not the best solution. We're trying to find better ways to patch it up, but this is the second time that this wall has been attacked.
You expect these petty repairs to keep out the Buldrum?
No, we don't. But as right now, it's the best we can do.
Hey, I'm sure it'll work fine. Besides, you got us here now, so there's no need to worry.
That is correct.
Ellis kind of lets out a sigh and says, "Oh, thank you. We could really use it. It's starting to get late in the afternoon. We don't know how soon the Buldrum will come back, but we probably have some time for now. So feel free to look around and eat whatever you'd like." Inside the room, you can see some bins that are filled with what look to be local kind of plant food and vegetable, as well as some meat that's sitting in some jars on the ground.
All right, thank you.
Is there any like pastries?
Pastries. No, we haven't really had the time to cook around here, but we do have some bread that you could eat.
I like bread.
Fine.
Bread will be fine. Thank you so much, Ellis.
He just kind of looks at you and says, yes, and rummages around he pulls out 2 loaves of just kind of very dark, grainy looking bread, the stuff that you'd find definitely not processed by any factory, but it looks fresh enough, and he hands it to you guys and says, we made these loaves this morning. I hope it's to your taste.
Oh, wow, thank you. That's awesome.
Sadly, we're pretty much out of meat at the moment, except for some of the preserved stuff in the jars, but we have plenty of vegetables that are pretty filling once you get used to the taste.
I'm sure it'll be amazing. Ellis, we've got it from here. Although, I will ask, once we're done eating, where should we set up shop, so to speak? Where should we start patrolling?
Well, I guess I could just show you around the different sites where things have been taken, and obviously you can see the first wall already. It was broken down. As you look, you can see it's about a 10 by 10 hole, pretty gaping in the side of the wall, and said, this is where most of the damage was sustained, where we lost several different items from the kitchen. You know, we lost a lot of different foods and some baskets of fruit, and most of the meats that were around here. It was actually a whole bullfingal corpse. It was kind of incredible.
In the background of this shot, Baxter's just shoving bread in his mouth.
Oh my god. So,
Yeah.
do the Buldrum, do they not like the vegetables? We could use that to our advantage, maybe, if they're especially averse to them.
I think it's that most of the foods that we've gathered, specifically the plants, were from around here, so they're not anything new, but some of the more well-prepared foods, that's mostly what was taken, and it's why we don't have a whole lot to offer today. Interestingly enough, we also lost most of the scraps and rotten food that we had thrown away.
It's weird to think that...
Ellis, what is the purpose of this outpost?
Well, this outpost was originally supposed to be kind of a base of operations for both an outpost for the expansion to start from, where we were originally supposed to get a lot of different construction and demolition vehicles to come through here, but we've been having so many attacks that instead they've called for reinforcements to help us try and secure this area. Other than that, I'm here personally to try and study the plants and find a good way for us to expand and not necessarily be attacked by all of the territorial wildlife.
Are we all they've sent thus far?
Other than Ethan?
Yeah. That's all you're gonna need. We're pros. Can I roll a deception check for that?
I'm not so confident.
I'm just trying to make him feel better.
For sure. Yeah.
Oh! Natural one.
And that fucking Buldrum just breaks down the wall behind me.
Honestly.
I rolled a nat 1.
So, with that nat 1, Ellis just kind of looks at Geset and puts on a very obviously plastered smile and just kind of goes, yes, I really hope that you can help. Please. Oh. He kind of just looks down and like stares off into space at the floor for a little bit.
Damn it. Oh man, I feel bad now. Alright, I guess that's just gonna sit down and eat her bread. Really quick.
Cool.
She's just sitting in the corner, eating bread and feeling bad.
Aww.
She wanted to help.
Not my girl.
After a moment, Ellis notices that you've wandered off, or Geset has wandered off, and kind of goes, "Oh, sorry about that." And he walks back over to Geset and sits across the table from her and says, "You know, it'll probably be fine. I mean, we've dealt with so much now. A couple extra hands can only help, right?
Yeah, exactly. See, that's the spirit.
Just try not to anchor any of the wildlife. You haven't, messed anything up, right? You haven't found any way to attract them here?
Oh no.
Trying not to alert the wildlife yields no effect. They are aggressive.
Oh, so you've encountered them?
Ellis?
I
push on the brick wall.
It wasn't really an animal. It was more of a plant.
Ah.
Is that better?
Depends on the plants. And he just kind of stops talking about it.
We beat the shit out of it.
I mean, it's probably fine. I killed it with an apple, so.
Oh!
So
Well,
it's nothing. It's fine.
he kind of cocks his head to the side and just looks at you very confusedly and says, well, I'm glad.
Shit, I keep forgetting to do my character voice.
Mood.
It's okay. You're just working on it. Just try your best to differentiate. Yeah.
Ellis, I've gathered some useful intelligence from our only single encounter with one example of the wildlife around here.
Ah, yes. What did you find?
I walk over to the brick wall and I lean my weight against it.
All of your weight?
I lean against it.
Oh.
Oh no.
You kind of just hear the wall shudder a little bit.
Eden, I wouldn't test that.
I walk to the left and perform the same test on the wooden boards.
Eden, stop.
The boards immediately fall out of place and kind of you feel the weight you kind of topple over a little bit. You're probably able to catch yourself, but most of the barricades have been ruined.
What I can tell you is that this is no place to sleep at night.
Eden, we knew that.
And where do we sleep?
You're right.
And yet here we slept.
No, we slept in the other building.
Made of the same cinder blocks.
The walls are very stable when they don't have huge breaches in them. It's just one wall that's a little unstable.
I'm sure they'll stop them next time.
We're waiting for the shipment of bricks to get in. In the meantime, we're trying to use what we can.
Eden?
Baxter.
Eden? We could always... I think we have enough room in Jeffrey.
That's a good point.
Right?
I do believe they'd be safer there. But I wouldn't be surprised if this location would then simply become overrun. It would provide duly useful... breeding grounds for whatever has caused these issues. I doubt giving up the outpost without leveling it is a wise idea.
Well, hold on. We're nowhere near leveling it. Come on. We're here to protect it. Like, we just gotta use our heads. Like, for example, if the walls aren't good for just keeping things out, perhaps we can use this hole to funnel them into an advantageous position for us. Because no wall is better than a weak wall if you're from the perspective of an invader. So if we get them all to funnel into this small area, then we can take out a bunch of them all at once.
Ellis walks over to...
That would get tiring pretty quick.
I don't understand what the point of that would be. Where there's one, there will be more. These are wild animals. Who knows their numbers?
Well, exactly. We would get an idea of their... Like, if we clear out all the food from this area and leave this hole, then maybe we could funnel them through so we can, like, take some pot shots at them without them being able to hit us and weaken them a little bit. It's just an idea.
The food certainly isn't safe where it is now.
Yeah, either way, we have to move this. Geset starts literally picking stuff up. Where's a better place to store this? Because I have a feeling this could take a while.
Oh, yes. Ellis kind of looks and thinks for a second. Well, we do have an unoccupied storage room right around the corner. We could move the food there until we are able to patch up the hole in a more effective manner. He kind of walks out of the kitchen back towards the eating area and then waits in the doorway in the hall for you guys to continue.
Yeah, Geset grabs just like a thing of the nasty vegetables and carries them behind Ellis.
He leads you guys down the hallway back to past the area where you guys originally entered from and over to one of the doors that was closed before and opens it to reveal basically just a pretty much empty room, about 20 by 30 feet in size. He looks at you guys and says, we have 2 different storage rooms, but one is already pretty full, so we could keep the rest of the stuff in here.
Oh, sounds good. Geset just puts it down, and I think she helps out for a little while, but I think she's more focused on setting up for the assault tonight.
As Ellis walks back with you to the kitchen and looks around, he says, So the main issue that we're having is not that the walls themselves are so unstable. They were made quite well by the Utology Foundation. We're very appreciative, but for some reason, these plants, this type of what seems to be a fungus seems to creep out from. Yeah, we're not sure what it is, but he kind of points at the edges of the hole in the wall and says, "There's this yellow fungal substance that seems to break down whatever it comes in contact with. It seemed to overnight almost erode the wall without anyone noticing. It was so hard to see in the dark that we couldn't tell what had happened until morning. And by then, well, by dawn, that's when we lost the wall. And you guys came shortly after."
Got it. So, so you said there's 8 people here. How many do you need working on the fungus problem? Because I think we're going to need all the help we can get in order to protect this place so you guys can work in peace.
Well, we're able to cut back the fungus fairly effectively. We can kind of just scrape it off, though we may have to make sure not to touch it with anything. Our bodies, I mean. But that isn't too hard. We just have to keep on top of it. So we probably have about 4 people working on it, walking around the exterior and making sure to keep it away. While other people, like Ashley down here, and he kind of points behind him to show that there's been a person in here kind of preparing food the whole time.
Oh, hello.
That we've just been ignoring.
Yeah.
Hello.
She kind of turns around and goes, "Hey, how you going? I'm just working. Don't mind me."
We'll make sure to keep safe then.
Thanks. You do that.
All right.
And she turns around and goes back to preparing the vegetables. But Ella says, "Yeah, we have about 4 different people working on the fungus at any one time, but we're unable to find the source is the problem. There seems to be some type of trail that leads into the forest, but we haven't been able to make a path because we've been too busy dealing with just keeping things locked up."
How long do we have till dusk?
He kind of steps through the hole out over the rubble and outside to look up at the sky and says, "Well, I'd say we probably have about 4 hours until dusk."
4 hours?
Didn't you inform us that around dusk is when the creatures tend to attack?
Yes, that is correct.
And what preparations have you taken?
Well, he kind of turns around and looks at
They
Eden.
built the barrier that you took down?
Yeah. That's all we had made. We were starting to nail them down when you guys woke up.
I don't think this would have stopped them if cinder blocks didn't.
No, it was the fungus that broke through the walls. It wasn't the
mean...
Out of curiosity, I lower my shields before raising them again, but in between I grab some of the fungus with my hand. Does anything occur?
As you hold on to the fungus, it kind of is just this very kind of fine substance, almost like algae, that comes off really easily and sticks to your hand a bit. At first, nothing really happens, but after about a minute, you start to notice small little, kind of almost rust-like erosions in the palm of your hand. It starts to chew away a little bit at the material, very slightly.
Can I get some too?
Get what?
Sure, what do you do?
Some of the fungus. I guess I just do the same as Eden. I walk over and grab some.
So, as you grab
why are we
the
all
fungus...
touching the death fungus?
Bear with me.
Well, I just wanted to see, like, it's obvious that it is, I guess, acidic to stone and to, I guess, metal, in Eden's case. But does it do the same thing to people?
So you grab the fungus, and for a few seconds, you can feel it. It's just kind of soft and almost a little spongy and kind of wet. And after about 10 seconds, you start to feel a sharp pain as the top few layers of your skin burn away.
10d10 mushroom damage.
Okay.
Yeah. Hey, Baxter.
Okay, I'm dropping it immediately.
Why would you do that? Okay, so now that we're done touching the...
But
we're not done.
This could be pretty useful. I take some in a vial.
Oh, that's right. Is that how you, like...
Hey, GM,
is that how we're gonna, like, refill your acid splash from now on? Like, maybe we'll take a sample and like grow it on Jeffrey, so that like you can always refill. Not on Jeffrey, but just
Oh,
like
not on Jeffrey.
like we have a little terrarium.
Yeah.
I mean, that would be pretty
You could
interesting.
actually like kind of have different types or slightly enhance
That would be
acid
fun.
splashes
I like
by
that.
using different materials that you find. Yeah.
That would be
You'll
really
definitely
cool.
have to spend time like looking at the
Yeah.
materials and studying them to figure out how to make them work though before you're able to use them in combat.
Mhm.
So I think Geset turns to her teammates and just kind of says, all right, so, well, we have a trail of mushrooms leading into the dangerous, deadly space forest. And we've got 4 hours. You guys want to head on down the Mushroom Brick Road?
Sure.
After taking the mushroom in my hand, I walk back out into the common room and mix it with some of the water and see what happens. I just grab some of the water in my hand, powderize the mushroom in the other, and sprinkle it on. See what happens.
It's more of, just so you guys know what your characters would be seeing, it's more of kind of just like a yellow film that covers the areas that it's on, rather than like a mushroom.
Yeah,
because it's more of a
not
fungus
the
unless
mushroom
it's
dip.
specifically like the spore emitting part of a mushroom. But yeah, as Eden takes the stuff on his hand, which at this point has started to make little divots in the metal of his hand after about 60 seconds.
Let me know when I take damage.
Yeah, I will. You're getting close, but Eden kind of submerges it in the water. And...
Oh, no. I don't submerge it in the fountain. I take some of the water out of the fountain and spritz it on.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm not just like dunking the stuff in the fountain,
Sure.
in the building.
Hey, Eden, what are you doing with our limited water supply?
I continue.
So Eden takes some water in his hand and splashes it on the fungus in his other hand, and it kind of... It partially meshes with the water. A lot of the water just kind of trickles through Eden's hand and down onto the floor next to him, but some of the water is soaked up by the fungus a little bit, where it turns into more of like a kind of mushy slush before, after about 30 seconds, starting to cohere into a more kind of solid blob and starts to expand over Eden's hand. You take 1 point of damage as it starts to corrode your hand even more quickly than before.
Okay.
Was I able to tell whether or not the damage that I was sustaining was catalyzed by the water? Like, as in, was the rotting away of my hand occurring faster after I put the water on it?
Yeah, it slowed down for a second as the fungus started to absorb the water and kind of mix with it, but then once it and the water kind of distributed evenly with itself, it started to rapidly grow about a centimeter in all directions, and then continued to erode a little faster this time.
Ellis, come here.
So
Okay.
Ellis ran over and said, yes, Eden, was it? What's up?
I have an idea. Looking over at those tables over there that are lined with swords and axes, I'm guessing you guys don't exactly have heavy artillery to be staving off these beasts with. Do you have, in copious quantities, flowing water? Are your water supplies any issue?
No, this fountain here, it's not our only, but is our main source of fresh water. We have it piped directly from one of the main eco-settlements about 20 miles from here.
And these pipes are pressurized?
Yes, I assume so.
Okay. I have two propositions. One is that you leave a box, or not necessarily in any location, but the idea is that you mix the fungus with some of the food, which we know apparently is the only thing they're after.
Okay.
I figure after one or more failed attempts at trying to find something edible that they like that doesn't burn away their flesh, they might lose interest in this location. Secondarily, in defense of when they return, I propose that you reroute some of this pressurized water to the roofs and create a mixture of the fungus and this water and use that as a weapon against them. Spray it at them like some sort of fire hose.
That's a really good idea.
I've never heard of anything like that before, but yes, I suppose that theory could work. I figured I should let you know. I talk to Ashley a bit, the cook in the kitchen, about
That's a
what
really great idea.
what had been missing from the kitchen, and she said that as well as most of the food that disappeared, like the bullfingo corpse and many of the fruits and breads, there also seemed to be the waste missing, as well as some of the smaller knives, specifically, as well as a couple pots and pans. I just thought I'd let you know, in case it helped at all. But I think your idea could possibly work. These animals do seem to try to stay away from anything harmful, so I suppose the fungus could be a deterrent.
Yeah, Ian, that's a really wonderful idea.
We just have to make sure that it didn't ruin the buildings.
Yeah, we'll have to keep it outside then.
Please don't spray it on the building. That would be hard to clean.
I walk over to the front entrance and shake my hand off outside onto the grass.
After the conversation, which I'd say took about 60 seconds, you take another 3 points of damage.
Ew.
Oh god.
And yes, you're able to mostly just shake off the fungus. A little bit is stuck to your hand, but you're easily able to kind of flip
Rub
it
it in the
off.
grass.
Yeah, that works.
As they're rubbing out.
It just starts like sinking into the core of the planet. Just like
Mother Nature's pissed.
all the grass in like a half-mile radius dies. Maybe this isn't such a good idea.
Hey guys, this is your DM, Rebecca, and thank you so much for tuning in for this episode of Safe Space. All four of us are having a blast playing D&D together, and we really hope that you all are enjoying it just as much. We're glad to have improved our audio quality over the past few episodes, and we'll continue to do our best. Thank you for bearing with us. Let us know in the comments below what you think about the podcast so far. We really appreciate the feedback. Share this with your friends, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Now, without further ado, let's get back to your regularly scheduled
Wait, hold on, this is my segment. Sorry to interrupt our amazing DM, but I've got a special announcement. We've decided to do something super cool with our fan base. You may have noticed that we have a different element to our video for this episode, a fantastic drawing by chicrea.jpg on Instagram. We wanted to spice up our videos by sharing the fan art that you guys make about the show. If you want us to use your art in our videos, all you have to do is post it on Instagram under the hashtag #DathThePodcast and say that you're okay with it being used in a video in the description. We'll default to crediting your Instagram username, but if you want us to credit something else, just explain in the description. Another thing we've decided to do is name NPCs after our fans who post about the show. We want to hear what y'all are saying about Safe Space, so if you want to have a character named after you, post about the show under the same hashtag, #DathThePodcast. Also, just between you and me, because we have like 30 followers, if you post about us, there's basically a 100% chance that I'll see it. Wink, wink. Okay, that's everything. I hope you're enjoying this calm investigation episode. It's a bit of a change of pace for us. I like it. Okay, bye!
Are these tables to my to the left of Eden also laced with food? What is the substance on these tables?
Ellis walks over to the tables and kind of looks at it and says, yes, this is where we keep most of our general goods for anyone who wants to purchase stuff on the compound. We have some different foods as well as some supplies. There's some ropes, kind of radios for communication. We also have some medical supplies in case of any injuries, both trauma kits and field kits, and some flashlights, essentials, things you might need.
I doubt you get a lot of tourists. Do you mean to tell me that you charge your subordinates for this food?
Well, it's shipped in from the main ecodome nearest to us. We're able to get some of it for free, and we distribute all of the supplies that are meant for the people. But we also do have a merchant here who really... It's very cheap. It's subsidized by Utology, but we do have to pay for some of the more luxury items.
Doesn't seem like you get a lot of business around here.
No, we mostly just take the earnings out of our paychecks.
Is it wise then to have this fruit sitting by the front door?
Well, there are many people that come around, and Ethan's pretty good about patrolling the area, so...
Oh, I'm not referring to the people.
Oh. I guess not. We haven't had any attacks on the interior sections. Only the exterior walls have really been attacked. We didn't think about it, but yes, we could move it.
I think that this is probably the food we should poison then. Because, I imagine if they didn't eat all the
Any food will do.
vegetables.
Whatever it is that they're after.
Well, he kind of looks... He kind of looks nervously and says, well, I mean, some of these... We could use some of the other foods. We don't get fruit very often, and I think people would be angry if we suddenly lost the more luxury foods. We don't get a lot of treats here. We could definitely use the plants, though.
Ellis, I hate to say it, but if they didn't eat the vegetables the first time, if we poison those vegetables that they didn't want in the first place, I don't think that's going to be much of a deterrent. If we keep all the good food, I hate to say it, and if, I promise I will bring back some, good fruit at some point, but I think this might be probably the best way to do this, right?
He kind of hangs his head and stares at the ground and mumbles, Yeah,
I'm
maybe."
sorry. Do I have anything on? Do we have any good food on us?
I retrieved the bag of apples that I took from near Jeffrey from the storage within my back and empty half of it onto the table.
Oh yeah! Oh wait, no, don't pour it out. Let's just use the apples instead.
I agree.
That's perfect. Never mind, Ellis. You can keep your good food.
Oh,
These were located by our landing site. They were just strewn about.
Yeah.
I
Use them to kill a plant monster.
we were expecting a shipment sometime soon. It's possible that they ran into, you said, a plant monster.
I pulled that out of my bag too.
Oh! Ellis kind of, at first, looks very surprised, but then gets a kind of gleam in his eye and looks closer and says, Where did you find this? I've never seen something like this before. I mean, we've seen... Is that a flower? We've kind of... And he just peers around it in multiple different angles, looking at underneath and above and everything he can inspect. Could you bring this to another room with me?
It was literally just out front.
If you agree that the next time you have a dropship land, you clear their pad first. This thing attacked us the moment we disembarked.
Oh.
Eden, we're here to help them out.
Indeed, and it's going to be hard to get reinforcements here if every single place where they try to arrive is laced with... What do you call these?
Well, I'm not... You said it was alive.
It was very much alive.
We've definitely seen some... what seemed to be living and almost omnivorous plants before, but never one like this. The closest specimen I've seen that I guess could have been alive, we call it a phlogodra. But as far as I knew, it was just a flower. It seemed to emit some type of strange gas, so we always skirted around it until times where we could get a sample more safely.
This plant.
That decision was wisely advised.
This plant wasn't just alive. It attacked us. Pretty much as soon as we got up.
Yeah, it went full Little Shop of Horrors on us.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I had no idea. That must have been where you got the wounds from. I didn't. And he kind of puts his head in his hands and says, "I'm so sorry."
No, it's okay. Here, let's just go and find the source of the mushrooms, and then we'll come back. We'll take care of this, and then everything will be fine. And you don't even have to give up the nice food.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Of course.
Do you know if this fungus propagates by releasing spores into the air? Because if it's anything like the mushrooms that I've understood in the past, then I doubt finding any sort of core will really staunch it from this place.
I mean, it could...
I wouldn't be surprised if their spores are everywhere by now.
I mean, it could be nice to have a clue of where they came from. Maybe they're not entirely natural.
As far as I can tell. Yeah, sure. I mean, they don't seem to extend or grow in the same way that most plants seem to. Most of these plants just grow wherever it's most habitable, but as we've cleared out the borders and kind of created small trenches to stop the plants from growing, just a foot down around the perimeter of the area, but with this fungus, it seems to just grow through the trench or down and then back up, and it heads straight for the buildings. It doesn't just expand into the grass around it where it could easily flourish, but it seems to almost have, this sounds too alive, but it has a directive. It doesn't seem to just take whatever it could. There's plenty of vegetation that it could try and grow on, but it's possible that these plants have some type of natural defense. We're not really sure.
Perhaps this is a Utology experiment.
Or maybe a Morgana
Why
experiment?
don't they experiment on their own people?
Compared to... How recent was this outpost constructed?
Why would Utology be experimenting with acid funk? Like, that's something I can see Morgana doing, but Utology? That doesn't sound like them.
You'd be surprised.
Ellis looks over and says, yes, I mean, it could be from the Morgana Corp. You know, we haven't heard anything about them in years, and they did have some outposts on the planet, but nowhere near around here. This is a fairly new and unexplored territory where this is almost a new frontier in a way. But this outpost, yes, it was probably established about 3 years ago. We've been working on studying the plants ever since, but we really haven't made much headway. It's only been in the past couple months that we've really started having problems with the
Alright,
wildlife.
well,
Do you know how long it's been since the earliest construction of humans was placed on Venus? It seems absurd for Utology to be aware of local conditions like this and still build buildings that are vulnerable to the wildlife.
As far as we can tell, this is the first time we've ever encountered this fungus over the past month or so. It's been very slow growing, but eventually, over only a couple nights, it grew very rapidly to attack the buildings. Before that, we've only really had to deal with the wildlife that has been around, who's been very territorial, and so we've mostly been able to avoid that problem by growing or putting outposts in areas that aren't claimed by the more territorial species.
And surely they've reported similar fungus too, right?
We aren't sure. We only sent back our first report about this fungus about a week ago, and we haven't heard back since. Sadly, our satellite dish has been taken as well.
Ellis?
We're pretty much in the dark.
yeah.
Ellis?
That is dreadful news.
Yes.
Ellis?
Perhaps we could use the communication devices on our ship to communicate with
that's a
anyone
really
that
good
we
idea.
need to send messages to.
Ellis?
That would be really helpful. Yes, Baxter?
Is it possible that somebody is targeting this facility?
Well,
If you said
suppose,
that,
but
you said that the fungus didn't grow rapidly until recently. Is it possible that somebody is controlling it, or at the very least giving it growth hormones to make it grow faster when you stray too far, or when you discover something
Again.
they don't want you to?
I mean,
well, I suppose it's possible, but as far as we know, we haven't found any species of intelligent has-been or any other humans that live on the planet other than Utology members, and most of them are either scientists or residential in the large ecodomes. It does seem...
For all
Yes.
we know, people could still be left over from Morgana Corp hiding out.
I'm not sure it's...
There's even a possibility of intelligent
I'm not sure
having
it's
somewhere.
the best idea to get into conspiracy territory yet. I think we should go check out the source of the fungi and then come to our own conclusions.
Fair enough.
That sounds like a logical idea. While Morgana Corp did have a presence, it's been a long time, centuries since we've even really heard about it.
Yeah, good riddance.
They pretty much vanished after the change. No one really even likes saying the name. But yes. The trail of the fungus, it's most strong over near the other building. We also had a small breach inside the communications relay, but it was nowhere as extreme.
Oh, Baxter, didn't it say on your file that you're, like, good with communications stuff?
You are technologically savvy, yes?
Yup.
Oh, maybe you should take a look at that then.
Sure, lead the way.
Yes, that would be helpful. Here, it's back through the bunks, through one of the other doors. He heads out of the main door to the compound with the kitchen and across the way towards the building with the bunks. He heads through the main door of the bunks and then over to the right. He heads to one of the two doors, or he heads to the door on the right as opposed to the left, and through it to reveal a very small room, relatively to the other ones, that is full of tables with books and papers, as well as some electronic panels and devices. On one of the tables that he walks over to is what looks to be a small microphone, as well as some buttons that seem to resemble a communications panel.
Now, Rebecca.
What's up?
Rebecca, I noticed there is a dude in here named Philip Ruiz.
Yeah.
Is he cute?
He's probably about like a normal sized man, about like 5'11" ish, with kind of dusty brown, almost black in some places hair that goes down to his ears and not much farther. It's fairly short, and he doesn't seem to have much uniqueness in his build. He's not very muscular or slim, just kind of average looking. And he turns around to show that he has a very nice sculpted face, I'd say, with a cleft chin. And he turns around and says, "Oh, wait just a second. Yeah, and I put the name tags, but I haven't actually."
What kind of voice is he gonna have?
But yeah, I got a voice for all of them but him, so I'm figuring this out.
Oh no.
But as Ellis enters the door, he walks over to the communications panel, while when Ellis enters, Philip turns around and says, yes, hello,
You're doing great.
I'm sorry, Rebecca, I love you.
I hate doing, but
You're doing great,
So,
it just caught me off
He's a
guard.
mute.
Hello.
He's a mute communications.
Hello?
he actually just speaks in sign language.
'Cause he's a
that would be
communications
cool if he did that,
officer.
but no, not.
That would be really
That would
cool,
be him.
actually.
I know, right?
Oh, that would be kind of ironic.
I know, right?
That would actually. But he turns around and goes, "Hello, my name is Philip. It's
Hello.
nice to meet you all.
I'm Geset.
I love this voice.
Nice to meet you, Geset.
Baxter.
And who is your large..." And he's, as soon as he says that, Eden kind of walks out through the hole a little bit and says, "Who is your friend peeking through the hole?"
Your doorway is not wide enough.
No, it's a fairly small one in compared to the kitchen. I'm sorry about the low quality facilities, but yes, this small little breach, probably about 5 by 5 feet. It's we lost a little bit of wiring as well as our satellite dish, but the damage here hasn't been too bad. Unfortunately, we've basically lost communication.
Well, I'm glad you were able to signal us first.
Yes, we sent out a request for help on our last report soon before we lost all communication, and we're very fortunate.
Awesome.
And you're not able to send or receive messages?
No, not currently. We can occasionally receive messages. I've kind of fastened a small antenna that can pick up some signals, but it's very rough.
Ellis mentioned the satellite was broken?
Yes. Ellis says from across the room. As far as we know, it was ripped right off the top of the building.
You got a ladder or something?
Philip chuckles a little and says, "Well, not a ladder, but there are some rungs that you can climb up for the side of the building."
Let me know if you need a boost.
Isn't that a ladder?
It's more of a immovable ladder built into the side of the building. I know it's a little hard to tell with the gap in the side of the wall, but there is actually a doorway that leads out here. It's just been compromised by the hole, and literally like inches from the small hole in the wall, he pushes on a door that was basically blended into the wall, which opens just into the side of the compound. It's fairly small, but big enough for all of you to fit through. Eden would probably have to walk sideways through it.
Secret door. Secret door.
Well, I don't know about secret, but it's not used very often.
Rebecca, you said that he pushed on the wall and it opened pretty much.
Well, he pushed on what looks like just part of the wall, but it's actually...
Yeah, so secret door.
It's a little secret, I guess. He kind of chuckles and then walks out the door and then around the side of the building where you can see some small metal rungs that are affixed to the side of the building leading up to the roof.
Walking around the perimeter of the building, can I tell that this one is any more or less infected with the shrooms?
So, as you look at...
Indeed.
The fungus. So, as you look at the hole in the wall, you can see that while there isn't any of the yellow fungus on the side of the building, you can see a small trail where a lot of the grass has died. It's kind of like, well, whatever. A lot of the grass has died, and it's a trail this kind of divot in the ground leads towards the edge of the flattened part of the compound, and as you get closer to the jungle, probably about 20 feet away from the hole, you can see that there is a line of yellow. Philip kind of picks up a stick from the ground and walks over to this line of yellow and just scrapes at the ground with the stick, kind of moving some of the yellow fungus back. He says, yes, we've been trying to get rid of this, but it's quite persistent. It seems to just keep coming back. We have to do bi-daily sweeps of the compound to get rid of all of it.
Ooh.
Wow, so this has all occurred within the last 12 hours?
Well, no, we just every 12 hours go around to make sure that none of the fungus has made it too close to the compound. But
I see.
It was this morning at dawn when the kitchen was broken into, and this small hole in the communications relay as well as the satellite dish were taken in about 4 days ago. And so I've fashioned some repairs and replacements, but I only have so many supplies.
Wait, so to clarify, that break-in that happened in the kitchen happened while we were sleeping?
No, it happened like a couple hours before you guys got here.
Oh, so yesterday, because we slept the night.
Well, so you guys left last session when we left off. I was saying it was like early morning when you guys made it to the compound. So you slept for about 8 hours. So
right.
Yeah, so it's kind of in the mid-afternoon right now, and you have about 4 hours until dusk. I'd say now it's about 3.5 hours.
Okay. Thank you for
I
the
just slept
clarification.
all day.
Yeah, you basically slept all day. Yeah. You guys were asleep for quite some time. I tried not to disturb you. I've been in here most of the time, working on repairs. The hole in the wall, it was mostly covered up by metal panels, so I was able to just take some parts of that and affix it to the wall, but from the outside it's still very apparent that there is a compromise.
Rebecca?
Yeah.
I'm just imagining him hammering a couple wooden boards on there, then going through the door and peeking to see for a way,
Oh my
and then
god,
going
yes,
back and
that's
hammering
such a
some
good
more.
image.
Yeah, basically.
Alright, well, Baxter, you could probably climb on up there and fix up the communications issue. So you're climbing up the ladder?
Yep, that's what I'm doing.
Geset pulls out her guitar.
Yep.
What a thrill!
Well, I just realized I haven't gotten out of my PJs. We came straight from we came straight from the dining hall. I'm just wearing my giant T-shirt.
As Geset
that
starts
count for
singing,
bardic
Philip just kind
inspiration?
of closes his eyes and sways his head a little bit.
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding, because I actually
Did
don't
you
want
spend
to
a bardic inspiration?
sing like established songs when I do bardic inspiration, because I feel like it'll be more fun if I come up with my own, even though I'm not good at it yet. But like,
It's gotta be contextual.
Yeah, you gotta make
But,
the
like,
whole
that's the fun
song
of
on
it.
the spot, and it could be really weird, but it still works.
Those cassette
Which,
freestyles.
Yeah.
Which, for the record,
You know, in that
when
mood.
I was listening
thank
back to the first episode, I liked the song you wrote.
Mine?
Yeah, that's
I
sweet.
mean, it was really simple and kind of dumb, but I liked it.
Oh, okay. I couldn't quite hear you
Yeah.
who you were talking to. Thank you. Yeah, I liked it too.
Yeah.
You're the only one that did a song,
I mean-
you dummy.
Anthony says so much weird shit that I was like, did he start singing?
For all we know, he's actually robot singing. But yeah,
Yeah, it's all in character, completely canon.
as Baxter climbs up the rungs, as Baxter climbs up the rungs of the building up to the ceiling or up to the roof, which isn't actually that high up. You can tell that the communications room is probably only about maybe 10 feet tall in height, with the roof being that high, while the bunks go up to probably closer to 15 feet, as some of the bunks are bunk beds, as to say, on the inside. But Baxter, as you climb up, you can see a path leading up from the side of the wall where the hole is, where a lot of the stone isn't necessarily broken, but you can see some signs of wear and tear, specifically in a line leading up from where the side of the wall where the hole is, up to an area where there is a large metal rod that's probably about about 2 inches in diameter and about 3 feet tall, where it looks like something was attached and isn't anymore.
Careful, Baxter, the roof
So,
could be compromised by the fungus.
Oh yeah, that's a good idea. Is there fungus up there?
You can't see any that's up there, but you can see where it most likely would have been, as there's a lot of kind of just damage in a line leading to the pole.
Okay. Can I just kind of like get to the pole and make an investigation check on it?
Sure.
What are you trying to do?
Yeah, like what are you trying to investigate?
See what's wrong with it.
So you can,
I'm just trying to
without
see-
an
Problem is that the
investigation check,
satellite
let me
got
just before
taken
you
by a
roll.
fun pig.
Okay, you rolled anyways, but
I already rolled.
yeah,
There's a problem, Doc.
yeah.
It
So
sure is missing.
even without the roll, but the roll basically tells you the same thing. Is that you can see that this is most likely where the satellite dish was mounted. As you can see that the metal close to the top had had like little places where something looked to had been affixed, but then was ripped off. It looks like this pole was holding something, or holding the satellite dish, and it is now gone. But the pole itself doesn't show any signs of damage from the fungus.
Okay. Can I kind of like peek around the other side and see what the fungus is like doing over there? Because like you said, it's leading up to the pole, but is it like you said it's not on the pole? So
Yeah, so there
it, like-
there currently isn't any fungus on the building itself, but you can see the damage that it had caused when it was sitting up there.
Oh, and then they cleared it off.
Yeah, and then they cleared it off.
Okay.
And so you can see that it's basically just looking over the side. You see the small hole at the bottom of the building, and then some damage on the side of the building on a line that's probably about 2 inches wide, going from the hole in the side of the building, up the side of the building, over the edge of the roof, and then towards the pole. But the pole is actually spotless. It just seems to be shiny steel.
Okay. So does the line look like natural, or is it like obviously going straight for the pole?
Straight for the pole.
Okay. So it seems like it was targeted. Okay. So I just kind of poke my head over the side of the building. Hey, guys. It looks like the satellite was targeted.
Really?
What by?
Huh.
The fungus. There's a line of erosion heading straight for it.
Well, that's weird.
That's very precarious.
Indubitably.
There's gotta be something intelligent at play here.
Alright, I think we should stop dawdling and we should go check out that line.
Gotcha.
Geset, come here. I'm curious about something.
Sure, what's up?
She
walks over.
I take out a container of water from one of my ration packs. I grab some of the fungus, with shields up this time, from the hole in the wall, and I lay the plant beast on the ground, and I lay some of the broken cement on the ground next to it, and I place some of the fungus both on the dead plant creature and on the cement, and then I pour water on them both.
Okay.
What do I see?
So, as you do that, you can see that the fungus immediately starts to kind of very, very slowly spread out so it's dispersed as thinly as possible, covering the widest area possible over these two objects. Over the crushed cement, it starts to very slowly chip away. Little like bits and pieces of almost like dust-sized particles over the next minute or so start to disappear, almost as if you had put like a large, almost as if you'd put something dissolvable in water, and you can slowly seeing it start to dissolve and melt. On the plant monster, after about a minute, you can see that all of the area that is covered by the fungus has lost several layers of the flesh, and all of the area that has been dissolved has kind of turned into this mush-like version of the plant flesh, where part of it is being absorbed by the fungus, so that the fungus starts to spread the more that it breaks down, but part of it is kind of just sitting there at the bottom, or kind of almost flowing off the sides of the plant a little bit, creating this green goop that just sits there inertly.
What I'm looking for is a difference in the erosion rates. Are either of those substances, the plant or the cement, affected faster?
You can definitely tell that the plant's affected a lot faster than the cement, but I'd say about 3 times as fast.
Geset, what interests me is that this fungus seems to have a preference for the flora, and yet it's targeting this cement building and focusing all of its damage there.
Yeah.
This is odd.
It's better at consuming the flora, but it's targeting, and it's not going to get any nutrients from cement. It's not like it's targeting the food inside, because it just stopped at the cement.
I suppose we don't know what fuels this fungus.
I think we just need to go and just head on into the forest. I think that's our best option right now.
The reason that I wanted you to see this is because I figured that if this fungus was a naturally occurring substance, I predict, perhaps out of my grounds, that this plant creature has to grow in the earth before it's matured, and yet it's clearly not adapted to surviving this fungus that would probably attack it during this growth period. It's almost as if this fungus is new, and none of the life around this area is adapted to it.
It's an invasive species.
This reeks of aggro.
Yeah.
This doesn't seem natural.
Okay, if I know anything about fungi, it's that what's special about fungi is that they kind of have like a neural network. They can build up like a communications network that's pretty expansive. So maybe it's possible that the attacks aren't directed by anyone. What if the fungi itself is somewhat intelligent?
It's also entirely possible that none of our prior knowledge applies to this fungus.
Yeah. Perhaps
we should just get moving.
Yeah, let's just go. Baxter. We're gonna head out and go check out the source of the fungi, because there's clearly some intelligence behind this.
Huh?
Are you coming?
Quick OOC moment.
Sure.
Go ahead.
Rebecca?
Yeah.
So, I guess this is a question from my investigations up on top of the roof, but is there a way that I could fix the communications? Just like off of the top of my head. With the tools that I know I have, and...
I suppose so. On the side of the building, I forgot to mention, but you would have been able to notice a small antenna sticking up, kind of affixed to the side of the building, but sticking up a little, about a foot past the top of the roof. And you can see that it seems to be the antenna that Philip mentioned. trying to use as a receiver for any communications. But on top of the pole, you can see some wires sticking out, and you figure that you could probably try and do something with it, but you'd need some sort of supply or material, so you'd have to tell me what you'd try and use to do it with.
And I guess this is to the other two. I mean, it's probably not a good idea to split up the party.
Yeah,
but
definitely not.
I feel like, yeah, but I feel like it still would be pretty. I guess it would be a good idea to get reinforcements here if we could, you know. Yeah.
Is this happening out of character?
No, it's in character.
Yeah, I mean, let's do it in
I don't know,
character.
sorry.
Yeah, you tell me, Zach.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
But I also think...
I think reinforcements are a good idea.
Yeah.
There's something that's really insidious about this plant life, in the sense that, like, of all of the hundreds of square feet of cement wall and fences that this place has, the fact that it's only damaged the communications and the food is
Geset,
real weird.
Geset, Eden, the two of you could go investigate the forest, and I could stay back and work on the communications with Philip.
Oh?
You two could
What
go
about the forest?
into the forest while I try to get reinforcement.
Oh. Yeah.
Go into the forest to fulfill what purpose?
No, to follow the trail.
Yeah.
Oh, I was saying that in character.
Fungi.
Fair enough. Shouldn't take too long. I think we should check on Jeffrey first to make sure that the fungus isn't encroaching on his
Oh,
metal
shit.
Eden?
or his communications.
Eden, I've told
Okay,
you this
do you
before.
wanna-
It's not Jeffrey, it's Jeffrey.
Jeffrey!
Jeffrey!
Hey, you did it! I guess we can
I'm full on.
split up.
I don't understand the distinguishment.
I'm holding up a high five to both of them because I'm so happy that Eden has actually done it.
Geset stretches up and high-fives Baxter on the roof.
Eden?
And then-
Philip kind of takes a
Baxter.
step back and goes, you're not
Oh, yeah.
human,
Eden, come on.
are you?
And I'm still holding my hand out towards him.
No, Philip, I am the EDN3 EKU.
God,
Sorry, I wasn't... Yeah, right. He kind of just shakes his head and starts to head back inside. Let me guys know if you need any help. Ellis here will be working with me on the panels inside.
Alright, cool. So, how about... I guess we could do it that... So, Jamie, you stay... Or Baxter, you stay here, and... It feels so weird to call you Jamie.
I know, I
Baxter,
was
you
about
stay
to
here
say,
and-
it freaked me out for a minute.
Yeah. You stay here and fix the doohickey. Eden goes back and checks on Jeffrey, and I'll follow the fungi.
Geset, I don't think it's a well-advised idea for anyone to go on their own into the forest where there could be more unpredicted events.
I mean...
It'll be a quick trek back to the ship, and then we can follow the mushrooms.
We can all go to the ship together. I need to look through some of my supplies anyway.
Oh, perfect. Okay, so we'll go do
Fair
that.
enough. We're all better together.
Alright, let's go. Let's head on out.
Just to let you guys know, I'd say you'd have about 3 hours and 30 minutes left after all of this conversation.
So, we've got about 3.5 hours before we need to be back. So let's go.
Ellis, where did you want this plant creature?
Oh, right. He kind of peeks his head out the door and says, yes, follow me this way. He heads out the side door of the communications relay and up back towards the main building. He heads through the main doors, and down the hallway and is planning to head to the left before he turns around to make sure you guys are all following.
Yeah, sorry, I'm just having map troubles.
Yeah, no, it's fine. Y'all don't need to be super precise about this. It's just real
I'm
funny.
just fucking dragging this dead, liquefying plant just out in the middle of nowhere. God forbid Ethan walked by like, what the hell are you... Who are these people?
You're with Ellis, it's fine. So Ellis opens the large main doors to the area at the end of the left side of the hallway in the compound. You can see in multiple different cages are different both plants and animals. Inside the cages are animals both dead and alive. Some of the monkeys that you guys noticed swinging from the treetops as you were still in Jeffrey going down to land.
Jeffrey.
You can see that they have flaps of skin between their arms and their bodies that allow them to glide the way that you saw, as well as some bullfango, some plants on different tables, and what looks to be a giant arm that is nearly the size of Eden. And
Eden's arm or Eden?
Eden.
What the fuck?
Yeah, it's like a
What the
whole
fuck?
arm, but like almost the height of Eden, a little shorter.
Is it from those giant gorilla creatures from the beginning?
It's chunky guy.
Yeah, I think you could infer that.
Such a chunky guy.
Wow. We are vastly outgunned.
Ellis looks at Eden and then looks where Eden's looking and looks back and says, yes, no, don't worry about the Rajang. They don't attack us as long as we stay out of their territory. They're only worried about making sure that no one enters or leaves. But we made sure to build all of our compounds and outposts outside of the territorial range, so there's no reason to worry. We also have monitors. They're so large that we can track them from space, and so we're able to tell if they get too close. They're one of the few things that we had to learn about when colonizing this planet, but they're not too dangerous as long as you stay out of their way. You can pretty much tell where they generally roam as they do border patrols around their area, so everything is completely flattened.
I'm surprised you came into ownership of this.
Yeah, this, we're not sure what happened to it. We think it was just a Rajang that died of old age. You know, they seem to live for a very, very long time, but this one was just lying on the ground, perfectly dead. It didn't seem to have any injuries. We assumed that it was just sickly for some reason.
Rebecca?
And it was partially buried when we found it, almost as if something had covered it, but we were able to take this specimen without anyone noticing, as it was outside of the normal range.
Rebecca?
What's up, Zach?
Does it look like it's being decaying, or is it like taxidermy or something? Like, is it rotting?
It's like a little bit rotten, but it's the kind of cage. It's more of a container rather than a cage that it's suspended in. That's covered in a fluid that it's just kind of floating in, but it needs a really a 10-foot tall Tupperware.
Are any of the animals alive, or are they all dead?
Wow, I have to say I'm really impressed that you managed to disarm it.
Yes, thank you, Geset. This is my pride and joy. This Geset,
Disarm.
Oh, God.
Ellis turns to Geset and says,
so proud of
"Thank you. This
myself.
is my pride and joy, my favorite area on this whole compound. I come in here to make sure to learn all about the species so that we're able to defend ourselves properly. It's really quite fascinating work when we're not being."
Oh, I'm sure.
But yes, there.
Yeah.
Here, Eden, please place it on this table at the end of the room. And Eden, you would be able to see that there are one live bullfango and one live bulldrome in the large cage at the bottom of the room, as well as some plants that seem to be growing in containers that are have glass surrounding them so that they can't rapidly grow and expand outside of the container. The rest of the cages have dead and partially taxidermied samples or bodies of different flora and fauna. Just like the monkeys that I described earlier, the ones with the basically gliding wings.
Fascinating.
Ellis, I advise that you remove these creatures from the custody of this building. I imagine having some of their kin locked in this place might only encourage them to invade more, looking for who's missing. Do they ever act up or make noise?
Well, we have the living specimens, particularly the bullfango. They're very subdued. We have a certain drug mixture that seems a relatively normal sedative that we'd use on animals and plants on other planets. And that keeps them fairly calm. They as long as we feed them and give them their own small space to roam around, they seem to be fairly content, along with the mixture of sedative that we put in their food. It's not perfect, as it's not adapted for life on Venus. It was originally made for humans to use during surgeries, but it seems to work well enough. We haven't had any problems. We also made sure to especially reinforce this room in particular because we knew it would possibly be holding some certain types of specimens. So out of all of the areas, this is probably the most safe of the compound. All of the walls are doubly thick compared to the rest of the building. We haven't had any issues, even with the fungus.
This is the room where we should move the food and the beds.
Well,
Yeah, that's a good idea.
I suppose that could work. There's a lot of different. There isn't a whole lot of space. We could only probably fit about 4 beds if we also brought the food in here, but I suppose it could work.
Is your collection entirely necessary?
Well, it's the only way that we're able to learn about this planet. It's where we keep most of the specimens. We have some storage rooms, but they're not reinforced in the same ways that this one is.
Yeah.
Fair enough. I suppose you humans don't have to insist on having beds where you sleep. I'm sure the floor will suffice. Leaving enough room for the food, yes?
He kind of looks at you and at Eden and says, "Well, I suppose we could make some more room for the bedding in here, and in the meantime, we could stack the food fairly high. We do have many crates and barrels that we could use."
I suspect that your throats are less likely to be slit in the night if you sleep here.
Ian!
Ellis takes a step back.
Alright,
away from
I think-
Eden.
Hello,
and says,
Geset.
I think...
Yes.
So, Rebecca, I have a question. So, Eden
Sure.
is an experiment, right? Like, Eden's like, he says he's like the newest, latest model of, like, Utology Enforcer bot, right?
You would not know that.
Well, I mean, I would have read up, like, I've read up on both of your, like, files, because, like, I want to know. But basically what I'm saying is, like...
The files that you have access to say that I'm an EKU.
Okay, so
A standard EKU.
so I would think you're a standard unit.
If you've read descriptions of standard units, then I might not exactly even closely line up, but that's what you read.
Alright, I think, then, so would Geset be able to contact, like, higher-ups at the Foundation? Because she's been working there for a while. Like, so I think she would have some, like, at least, like, a manager to, like, contact, because, I think that from, Geset's perspective of what, like, you know, corporate robots should do, Eden behaves very strangely, so I feel like she'd find it necessary to report it into Utology.
Yeah. If you could get some type of contact link to the Utology Foundation, you'd be able to speak to some advisors. You know, like most corporations, there's a bunch of different layers of, like,
bureaucracy
bullshit that you'd have to go through. Yeah, but if you use any of the, like, radios that are on, are around, and if you could get a link to the main, like, wave, like, radio waves on this planet, then sure. But the problem is that currently, the only communications you have are on the ship.
Got it. Okay, so I'd have to wait for a while.
There are also in the kind of shopping bazaar area, really small, there are some, like, radio walkie-talkies, but those are for short distance, no more than a mile.
Yeah, alright, I'll just have to keep that in mind. Oh, maybe I'll make a call when we're at Jeffrey.
So honestly, Nova, out of character, I imagine that if you've been working at Utology doing, like, more menial level tasks before this point, then it's entirely possible that you would have some experience working alongside EKUs doing fairly simple
we actually
jobs.
have a canon that we've worked together before. So the solo session that we did together without Zach, I'm
that we didn't record.
Yeah, none of I don't think any of that is necessarily canon in and of itself, but, like, the fact that we have worked together at least once before, is canon.
Sure.
Overall, I think, like, Geset is getting very, like, weirded out, because Eden has, like, first off, he has, like, been, I think the main thing is that he's shown signs of resistance to the Foundation.
Interesting.
And Geset's, like, a very model employee, and she very sincerely believes that the Foundation is doing what it's doing for good reasons. And so I think she'd be very weirded out by a robot that was built by Utology suspecting them of doing things that are unethical when she doesn't suspect them of doing anything unethical.
Yeah, because you did mention that the Utology could have been using the
what I said was this could be a Utology experiment.
Yeah, experiment.
So to finish my point anyway, Nova, is that if you've been sort of like one of the pairs of boots on the ground for Utology, then by this point it's entirely reasonable to say that in the past you've seen EKUs or you've even worked with them in certain ways. If that is the case, or even just judging me against the description of a standard EKU, which all EKUs supposedly are, then you certainly would not have heard of one that is as big or combat-oriented as Eden, nor one that talks, like, very much at all, other than, like as much as a Roomba might talk.
It peeps a little bit, but that's about it.
So Geset's should be very suspicious at this point.
You're probably at least surprised every time you hear me say anything that wasn't absolutely necessary for me to say.
Yeah, I think this kind of came across like unintentionally earlier, but like when you came up with the idea of like poisoning the food, it would, like,
fair point.
It came across as Geset being genuinely surprised that Eden came up with that idea. Because, like, I was trying to think of all these different ideas of what we could do that weren't really that good, so I was just like, oh, damn, it's a really good idea. But I feel like that will come across as Geset being like, how the hell did you have that idea? Like, what?
That's definitely how I thought
it
sounded.
Oh, perfect then. Like, so I think she's like, this is not an EKU. This is something different, and it seems critical of the Foundation somehow. So I think she's, like, itching to get in touch with a supervisor because she is very model employee.
Well, Eden doesn't know any of that,
yeah,
so do as you will.
Yeah. Yep, so
and
I think...
You're always welcome to talk to him about it as well, but that's up to Geset.
Yeah, I think Geset's gonna try to take it up with someone higher.
One thing I'd like to establish is, we've made jokes about, Baxter, messing with Eden's mechanics and trying to, fix him in some ways. I was just thinking, would he have tried to work on an EKU before, or
Baxter?
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's
if you want to work that into your backstory.
Yeah, because I like that idea. I'm just trying to think if Geset is able to tell that he's not a regular EKU, I assume that Baxter, because I would like the idea of him having worked on them before, or at least experimented with trying to figure out a way to make his own kind of version, So in a way, I would assume that he would be able to figure it out that Eden's not a normal EKU before Geset.
Yeah.
So, as to whether or not it's realistic for Baxter to have encountered or worked with them before, the place that you would see EKUs is in any task that Utology would have that they either would not need anything as complicated or variable-y as a person to do, or some sort of job that they would not want any of their employees remembering. EKUs do the dirty work. If there's hazardous waste disposal, if there's some sort of kind of shady thing that they have to do that they don't want press getting into, then they can just send in the bots. So, by the way, one of the first moments that you guys may have thought, like we can retcon it anyway, that Baxter and Geset may have thought that Eden was a little weird, is that when we all returned from that first mission in the mines, I accompanied you guys to talk to the CEO. Which you could interpret as pretty weird.
That's true.
And another thing is that the very last words the CEO had were, "And Eden, your orders are," and then he listed a couple of them, and the first of which was to assist you guys, and then to deal with a certain situation on Venus that we would find out once we landed.
Yeah, what CEO Valentine said was, Eden, your main orders are primarily to assist your team and secondarily to not make a fool of the company.